Good morning. Today is the 24th day of the counting of the Omer. We're moving through our weeks between Passover and Shavuot, between liberation and getting the guidebook that will push us a little bit further on our way through the wilderness. Oh, how we need that guidebook today. Um, and we're doing that with Shir HaShirim, with the Song of All Songs, because, sometimes we need rules, sometimes we need laws, sometimes we need, like we did with the Psalms, songs that speak to the truth of the human condition, as the Psalms do so beautifully. But other times we just need love. And this is a time we need love. We need love, right? We just need to feel love. What?
Nothing.
so, okay. So let's say a prayer for learning and count the Omer.
Yeah, it's just that sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
What the challenge is for me in reading these texts is to get beyond the obvious,
Yeah.
and to add something when we're speaking them in another language that returns the sparkle to them. Because otherwise,
Yeah,
you could throw out a bunch of old lyrics.
Which is what
You know?
Marcia Falk, I think,
Yeah.
really tries to do so
It's not
beautifully
easy
because
to
she's a
do.
poet. It's not easy to
You
do.
could be
And
quoting,
she
all you
explains.
need is love.
Yeah. We don't want to do that.
But that's kind of the sentiments, and the sentiments
Yeah.
to take something in the Bernard Malamud way and to just
Well,
turn it a tiny little bit so that it gives a little sheen back.
well, I think you can do that with this because it's a dialogue. It's and to your point,
You have to
always
be attentive. It's hard to do.
it's not just the two; it's the three, right?
Right. No, that's a good thing. So we're in the third word. What Susie means is we're in the third pole of the second dyad, Tiferet. Tiferet today. Tiferet within Netzach.
Netzach, right?
So every week has an energy that we're sensitive to. Every day within that week has an energy that works within the context of that weekly energy. And today, and we're thinking about the energies in triads, in threes. So today we have, the week is given over to a sense of confidence, Netzach. But today, particularly today, is given over to Tiferet, the sense of beauty, this center pole within Netzach. וערב נערנה אלוהינו את דברי תורתך בפינו ובפי עמך בית ישראל ונחיה אנחנו לצאצאי עמך בית ישראל כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה ברוך אתה אדוני המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. Amen.
Amen.
Oh God, make the words of your teachings pleasant on our lips, the lips of all of those that come into our screens, so we can spend the time in learning for what? For pleasure, for a transformative gate onto that learning opens, onto those transformative gates. We're moving through the 49 gates to emerge when we receive and earn our durable wisdom, our book. Blessed are you who teaches to your people in this fashion. I'd like to say, Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Counting. We're in the fourth week. Tiferet within Netzach. Tiferet shebenetzach. Second triad. Confident and durable, hidden beauty expresses. Resolution, middle pole. I'm going to take hidden out of there. I'm just going to say beauty expresses. Beauty. I'm start over. Second triad, confident and durable. Beauty expresses. Resolution, middle pole. All paths pass through beauty. Tiferet, whatever it is, make it a spiritual experience. Chesed, love, gevurah, restraint, Tiferet, beauty, Netzach, you think you know, Hod, you don't. Yesod, foundation in the body, Malchut, spigot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitsham b'mitzvotav v'zivanu asfirat ha'omer. Hayom, 24 yom, shehem 3 shvuot u3 yamim la'omer. Today is day 24 of the Omer, which is 3 weeks and 3 days of the Omer. Bless our president, our vice president, and all their noble retinue. The counting of the Omer is taught by Randy Newman, Paul Simon, Joni Prince, Richard Thompson, and Ben Bagbag. Fountain, its origins, love. Love chesed, loving kindness overflowing. Negotiations by Gevura, restraint. Lifted up and balanced into Tiferet, beauty. With Netzach, this time ready. Second pass, you think you know. You don't know. Looking for soul in Hod. Settling into synthesis, Yesod in your slacks. With Malchut, the spigot is yours. Turn it. Don't turn it. Okay.
That's good.
Let's launch.
Yeah, wow. We began chapter 6 yesterday. And of course, in that beginning of chapter 6 is that most beautiful line that we've been kind of working towards. Anila dodi v'dodi li. Anila dodi v'dodi li. Haro eba shoshanim. And you know, the way that we read this is not just my beloved is mine and I am. My beloveds, we read this as belonging. What happens when you pass through, when you go beyond the I don't know, just the sweetheart stage, the friendship stage, the lover stage, and you get to something that is so deep that you belong to each other. And you know, there's a risk for that, because when you lose someone that you belong to, that belongs to you, it changes you, right? It's a risk. It's a risk to love that much. That's who we are. So it's beautiful. Anila dodi v'dodi li. That's how we ended yesterday with verse 3 of chapter 6. So now we go to verse 4, where we have, you know, this image of Tirzah. Tirzah, a great city, right? Tirzah. Tirzah. You know.
Tirzah, Canaanite city.
Right? Beautiful town of Tirzah, as charming as Jerusalem, but north, you know, in the north, right? So, you know, we're talking about, you know, the, right, we're talking about the different holy places. You know, eventually Jerusalem takes over. What?
Then we have this insertion here of something we've had before. Phrases we've had before.
Go ahead.
You know, the pomegranate split open.
Right.
Chapter 4. And chapter 4, the hair, like chapter 4, teeth.
Yeah, now we're talking about how beautiful she is, right? He was beautiful. Remember the last thing we read was how beautiful he was.
Yeah.
And when the women, the chorus of women says, you know, what is it about him? Yeah. And she speaks about his physicalness, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. But now he is saying, you are beautiful, my love, as Tirzah, majestic as Jerusalem. And then, you know, there is something here that everybody seems to want to point out, this notion of this word here where it's translated as terrible, right? Terrible as an army with banners. So, you know, they point out here that terrific and terrible come from the same, in English, you know, that come from the same root. And that's because in some languages, and in Hebrew too here, this notion of terrible really means awesome, right? Terrifying is really awesome. And that's how we end up connecting terrible and terrific. They're the same.
Right.
And that happens in many languages where you get this suggestion of awfulness that is really awe, right?
Yeah.
And we have that here in Ayuma, right? Ayuma. Ayuma, literally terrifying, awe-inspiring. The Shulamite's beauty is so intense, her appearance so majestic, as to strike awe in those who see her. And awe and terror, what separates them, right? The interpretation accords well with her cosmic attributes. Or, and the blocks say it too. Frightful and horrible is a thread away from extraordinary, of unusual, exquisite quality, as we have in English, terrific and terrible. Same word, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Something
it's like fear. It strikes fear in you when something is so out of the ordinary, so exceptional. It makes you uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. But the text gets confused here.
Yeah.
It starts to break a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I wonder if this also is a later emendation, this Ayumaka need galot, to try to describe Jerusalem as opposed to Tirza.
That is definitely going on here, right?
Tirza.
That there is a political, which happened when we. Oh, actually, I read something in the middle of the night. Did you see about the oldest amulet that's been found?
No.
1200 before the Common Era, the time of so just before King David, and the time, of the Joshua's entrance into the land. They found on Mount Ebal a curse. Actually, Steve Englehart sent the article out in the middle of the night, and I read it. It's really fascinating. It's amazing. If you Google probably Ebal, Mount Ebal, there were two mountains in the north, so north of Jerusalem. So, this is when, the kingdom gets split. We're trying to figure out where is this, it doesn't make sense that Jerusalem became the heartbeat, because it's, it's not on water, it's not on the way to anything, it's kind of lost there, but it does become eventually the heart, the heart of the land. But it takes a while. Remember, there's the split. It is under David, and then under his sons, his grandsons, the country splits into Israel and Judea. So it splits, and there's always a tension between, the cities of the beautiful cities of the north and the kind of arid, different kind of beauty of Jerusalem.
The Greek translation takes this as not the city name, but a common noun, a description of her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like she's well structured or something like that. Beautiful Eudokia, beautiful structure. And Rashi follows this.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not to take the political out of it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Comely as Jerusalem, terrible as an army with banners. The way that the blocks, you are beautiful, my love, as Tirza, majestic as Jerusalem, daunting as the stars in their courses. Very different from an army with banners, right? Very different from an army with banners. Really different. I wonder what.
So deflect your eyes.
Turn your eyes away from me, right? Because they're dazzling me. They overcome me. And your hair, it's like a flock of goats that trail down from Gilead. right?
Here we go. We enter into this, what we learned is a certain form of Arabic poetry, Arabic folk poetry called a wasif, a description of her.
Mm.
We enter that now. This is put into the text now.
Think about that for a moment. Your hair like a flock of goats. Has to be from afar, because if you see the goats up close, they're kind of gross. But if you see them from afar, they do look like they're flowing down the mountain. Right?
So it's definitely going to be an insertion from chapter 4.
Yeah.
It's all the same language.
Down Mount Gilead. Right.
שהם הרימי ששרייך כעדר העזים כגלשו מן הגלעד שינייך
your teeth white
כעדר הרחלים, like these other animals,
sheep,
שעלו מן הרחצה,
which are come
they're
up
washed,
from the washing.
they're
We had that
washed,
already too,
clean.
right?
Yeah.
When these sheep, when they're not clean, are gross. But just when they come out of the water,
and all of your
glistening,
teeth,
right? And they're clean for a moment. Doesn't last long before they get all puffed up and brambled up, right?
And your teeth are well set.
Mm-hmm.
Good teeth.
They're all paired. None faileth among them. Must have been a thing in those days, without good dental care.
Good
right?
Teeth,
yeah, when you had good teeth, it must have been a sign. It must have been something. And then, so your teeth also, like these sheep, all alike that come fresh from the pond. We've had that before too.
Yep.
And then 7, finally, your temples are like a pomegranate split open behind your veil. It's not really veil, is it? It's the thicket of your hair. Why do they do that with the veil again? In verse 7, why do you think they do that?
I think it comes right from that. Chapter 4.
Yeah. I mean, we've got some repetition here about how beautiful she is. He's just telling her again.
Language.
Yeah, so that's really, according to the blocks, that's the next poem.
Okay.
That takes us to the next poem, which is about the good timing, because you.
Yeah, I got to split.
So don't you love? I hope you're enjoying this Song of Songs, this wonderful poetry.
I'm enjoying it.
I know.
Hi, Larry, Diane. Hello, Diane. Hello, Debbie.
Yeah.
Hello, Bill. Hello, Susan. Hello, Debbie.
So it's this balance between kind of the physical world and the spiritual world of what happens when you belong to each other, right?
So the question is, what we began with, we keep returning to, at what part of one's life do each of these books pertain? The 3 books that we identify with King Solomon.
Yeah.
Song of Songs, Ecclesiastes, Proverbs.
Right.
Where in your life do you tap slogans that they're meaningful to you? Where in your life do you enter this Proverbs. More nuanced vision that we encounter in Ecclesiastes? And where in your life do you work hard to make the integration between the physical and the spiritual?
Which is what this is, right?
Which is what this is.
So, yeah.
The physical and the non-physical.
And so many people think that Shir HaShirim, the Song of All Songs, is youth.
Not everybody.
But we don't really. We're starting to think this is the nighttime of our lives. So let's offer a very quick healing prayer. That would be, and thank you so much for being with us. This journey.
For the healing of the spirit and the healing of the body, for those we know, for those we don't know. On my right, who's there? The angel Michael. On my left,
Gabriel.
Who do we encounter?
Gabriel.
In front of me, Uriel. Behind me, Raphael.
The healer, holding us up.
And And above my head,
Shekhinah down, the Shekhinah, integrating the upper and the lower worlds. She does so beautifully.
Baruch atah Adonai.
The bride.
Blessed are you, great healer.
Bachuti Kala.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Have a wonderful 24th day in the counting of the Omer. Have a good day as we continue to figure out who and how we belong to each other.
Send me a beautiful message today.
Yeah, we could use some good messages today. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow morning for the 25th day. Halfway through to the 50th day when we receive the